Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to your favorite crypto trading show, Crypto and Coffee, with your trading bros, Clutch Crypto B. Wellington. He's always on the charts. Hey, we had some nice movement up pre-market yesterday to the weekend open. They also did a little bit of range into the upside, and now they are working on pulling back. We got a bunch of longs jumping on board. Big question that we have here, is this pump going to continue? Or is a short squeeze in store this week? B. Wellington, good morning. Can you hear me, B. Wellington?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so here we go. So just taking a look at the charts. This is the daily. So we're going to return back to daily since we have had this move to the upside. You saw before we kind of had these different tests to the downside, kind of these wicks that are down here, but we've had this movement to the upside. If we look at this as far as relation to the 50 on the daily, we didn't quite make it up to the daily to the 50 on the daily. So, there's an opportunity for us to do that, kind of moving up on the daily. But we do have these wicks that's down here. And then, of course, we've always talked about this support kind of at this 1220. So the question is, did support hold? And are we going to continue to move to the upside? So that is the question. My answer would probably be not, just because we've got this wick down here that continues to be a problem. If we go down to the hourly, which is kind of what we like to work off of, you can kind of see all these crazy lines. But we've had this move to the upside. We broke this peak up here, which is at this 1345. We're kind of at there now. We're at the 800 EMA. This box has been up here for a while. We kind of got into this box, which is also kind of the top of this peak as well. We didn't get to it. But this line here kind of represents, kind of the average of what these peaks were. And we've had a vector that's gone through the 800, which is very nice as well, as far as that move to the upside, and the 200, the 50 day crossover the 200. So that's positive for moving up. So we've had this retrace. Unfortunately, this move back to the upside, we're kind of looking at it and experiencing it right now. If we don't get another move to the upside, I mean, this peak here, if we don't come back up into this 1370 area and start to get some volume, then we'll call this a rejection at the 800 and probably move kind of backing down to these psychological areas, psychological high being at 1317 and 1310. But we've had a lot of vectors to the upside. We had this vector here, of course, on the 800. We had another vector here that didn't follow through. Now, we've got kind of this move to the downside, relatively speaking, on the 1 hour. So we will definitely see, to the downside. We still have, as we mentioned, some of these imbalances. So I don't think we're out of the woods yet, relative to that. And again, on the daily, if you looked at it, we hadn't gotten to the 50. And we would expect a retrace off of that 50 once we got to the daily. It's been a long time since we've been to the 50 on the daily. Lower time frames, if we're looking at that, is we're going to move. Let's see here. So and this is kind of I've done a lot of looking at the chart this morning, I will admit. But, same situation, man. We've got this crossover. We're kind of bouncing on this, bounce off this 200, had this move to the upside. Just kind of open it up here. So you got a little bit of a move to the upside. It's early on in the session. I would say that by 9:15 or so, if this baby doesn't pop this high here, then I would be happy with fading this move with a tight stop, and that stop would probably be in this 375 area.
For a
If we
short?
were for short, yeah. If we decide to move up here, I mean, we're bouncing off this pivot point, which is kind of a fib note. This is you've got this move to the upside, this retrace. Looking to the upside, though, I mean, 1400s is still still out there, as well. We've kind of had this peak. We do have this little bit of an imbalance up here as well. So that 1400s, I mean, if we get past this 1370s, like, that 14 or at 1400 to 1420 is kind of what I'm looking at as well. If we get past 1420 and there's any volume that's coming into the charts, just hang on for a ride to the upside. But just kind of looking at the volume right now of where we're at, doesn't really seem like it wants to go at this point. If we look at coin analyze, which we do like to do, 6.4 billion in OI, so we've got quite a bit of OI. We've been hanging out in the sub 5 billion area, so we've gotten quite a bit of activity moving to the upside. And looking at the price action, as you can see, we're kind of OI is moving along with price, which probably indicate that we're starting to get some longs on board. Looking at Binance as far as their CVD, so CVD has been moving up. As OI's moved down on this one, so this recent move to the downside, of course, has produced by some liquidations on the long side, and we're kind of fighting that right now. But CVD seems to be pointing to the upside. This is on the 15-minute. Looking at the news side, we've opened to the upside with a sharp move to the upside. We've probably got earnings starting to come out. We've got a little bit of issue in China. We've kind of got a coup that they're talking about's happened over there. But, the macro picture is still not looking great, even though the Fed did come out last week and said that they are going to start to cycle down the rate hikes. So, but all that means is that, but that could change. I mean, they're changing every other day. But they're not talking about reducing rates. They're talking about reducing the hikes. So they're still going to hike this on a slower level. I think we looked at this last week as well. So we've got PMI, but really what I'm looking at is PCE on Friday, probably on the 27th on Thursday. It's probably going to start with these jobless claims as far as some activity is concerned. Well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, not great news days, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, we've got a sharp move to the upside on the traditional markets. And but if I had to, because I do, make a decision on where the price is going to go today, I'm going to say we're probably going to move to the downside.
All right.
That's my analysis for the day.
What a great analysis. Thank you, B.
What do you got on your side, Clutchy?
Well, let's take a look at it. So we got High Block Capital right here. So as you can see here, guys, we had some really big longs come on board to almost $200 million. We did recover the 100X1 that was at 1343. They did that last night. We have another one that's yet to be recovered, 1329, and then the other big guy at 1302. So these are big long liquidations that are still out there on the board. And as you can see, we're still sitting at about $4.8 billion in the on the long side of the liquidation delta. So they were able to move from negative over to positive over the weekend. And as you can see, we're still trying to fill in this gap a little bit. So there may be some ranging that happens today. Let's take a look over at Bookmap to get a little bit better picture of what we got going on over here. So let me change windows for you guys real quick. And here's Bookmap. And as you can see, we're weighted to the downside right now. 1340 is the support area for the order. So if we were able to break through that, go ahead and expect us to come down here and start filling in these lower areas that don't have much volume, which will be right here in this 1320, like B. Wellington mentioned. He mentioned 1310, 1320. So that does look favorable if we can break that. However, if we do get a bounce there, do expect us to have some more upside potential, and us breaking 1352 will put us back on the road up. We do have 1368 to get past on the order book, and again 1400, like B. Wellington mentioned a little bit earlier, is some long-term liquidity up there. So basically we need to get past about 1360 if we want to keep going up, or if we break down past this current area that we're in right now. If we get past this 1335 area, go ahead and expect us to see prices around 1320. So, but I'm also bearish for the day as well. And yes, I am being biased because I am currently in a short.
Well, it's good analysis for a biased position. But we'll see. We'll see. It's early on. It's early in the week. We just had this pump, you know, and so we'll just have to see if it continues because, as we know, the longer these pumps go, the more longs get on board, and they got to come back and take out the stops on those longs. So look for
Absolutely.
areas where a lot of longs come on board, and
Oh,
let's
and
get
just
back down there and see what happens.
just a little secret. Normally we come back within the next week to grab it, but we do have open CME right around through 1300, which was around Friday's close. So do keep that on your radar books, and that may be where we're heading right now. So just want to throw that out there because I am the CME guy.
We got to call it. That's going to be your secondary name.
I kind of feel like a penguin. All right, guys, that's all we have for today's show. So, ride that short. Be careful. Put your stops in profit. Stay frosty. Until next time, AMF.